Hello from New York. Brisk sun Tuesday morning, and welcome to the new year. I'd like to thank all of the great creators, Linux channels, and all of the educational videos so freely available on YouTube. Suggest you check them out and use the word science and doctor, when you go if you're looking for more valid information, perhaps. Uh, but, as you wish. Um, Today, I'm going to, and Nestle, chocolate. No, they're not paying me to say that. Yeah. They may not want me to. Freedom of speech. Don't like my channel. Okay, sorry, Hershey. Anyway, I still like you. But I blend it with baking chocolate. Got the sugar. And I use water because I've got a big midsection. Not just the funny face that I deal with here in my old age. Um, anyway, I'd like to give the title that I gave to this thing. This is a boomer video, okay? Okay. Let's see. Communication between religions, putting the pieces together, and cultural comfort zones. Intermind communication. All right. I'm going to try to give a more organized presentation today. About time, right? Anyway, and maybe this will keep my thoughts clearer, and I'm not so tired today, so I won't drift around so much. I'm putting these things out. They told me just put out lots of videos. Because if you don't get any viewers, what's the point? But of course, if you turn off a lot of viewers with your boomer video, well, then that's a problem, right? So working on the quality, you know, working for free. I'm used to that. Did a lot of free work in my day. So my social security is, yeah. And I hear that people are, think, because everybody posts, says positive things about their life. Oh, my children are all above average, and all of that. And my dogs are so wonderful, and I have such a beautiful, you know, house, and all of that. Oh wow! I like to be honest. I'm at the end of my life, and yeah. And I got a lot of things wrong with me. Like, so to make you feel better, so I may have a little extra hair at my age. Inside, I'm rotting away in many ways. So I would trade my hair, for the internal health, you know. So anyway, and some people look good, bald. So that's the way that works. It's always everything is funny in this life. I mean, everything. we have laws, and we seem to never keep them. You know, why are we like that? You know, it's like even when it's easy to do the legal thing, people will do the other. You know, you just sit in amazement watching this, even though it risks their lives and anybody else's. Yeah, Sapolsky had a lot that could look that guy up. He had a lot to say about us. Not all of it good. Anyway, well, I'm going to make this presentation today. Oh, finally. Well, I'm an old guy, and I'm a boomer. You know, I'm just out there a little bit out of touch, in my own way. But I have a few good ideas. Anyway, number one, got like one, two, three, and four. Empathetic communication and drama. And two, let's see if I keep this back. These communications divided among religions. Three, putting forms of empathy together. Stress, cultural comfort, how much stress and dramatic strength. Do I even understand what that was? Completely. But anyway, let's launch into this. You have interesting things to say. Please say something back to me. Communication is all about dialogue, monologue. And if I can put up with listening to myself and the boredom of that, please ease that boredom and say something about the video. Make fun of it, say anything you like, disagree with it, you know. Just say something. You know, stimulates the old brain. I need that. Stimulation, brain die. Anyway, let's see how well I do here. Yeah, I have to look at my notes. You know, I'm not well organized. Never have been a messy kind of a person. Anyway, empathetic communications and drama. Well, you know, with intermind communication, the overarching philosophy and pattern that I talk about on the verbal level, the social level, is all about empathy. And to use a haircut. Anyway, let's see. Let's look at that pattern. We've got three forms of empathy that I talk about: creative, passionate, and objective. And we have these perspectives, kind of forms of ourself. Your imagination, you're playing all the roles. And that's kind of an imaginative approach to mysticism. So, and it's rational. Kind of. Anyway, but the focus, you know, your general life is your dramatic life. And you don't want too much stress, and you don't want too little stress. You know, you want some positive stress in there. Um, and that's your comfort zone. I'm skipping ahead a little, but that dramatic self communicates in inner mind communication with, well, an internal caregiver, which is, helps you develop compassionate empathy. You're playing both the roles here. The inner counselor, in which you're dealing more with this deals more with the present, looking into the future. Anything discussed about the past is referred to in past tense, and so you're moving, from the present toward the future. Those kind of anxieties are helped by, and you grow by objective empathy. Objectivity plus caring and understanding of yourself or the other person in real life. Not that your imagination isn't real life, just isn't necessarily objectively real all the time. Anyway, but you're talking to your counselor, you're talking to your caregiver, and back to yourself from those perspectives. Then there's the artist inside you, the creative artist, and it creates your imagination. Right? There's your higher power over your own imaginations, your play, your own drama, able to be outside of your timeline, because compassion helps more with the present, looking into the past. There you relive. You get closer to a reliving of feelings and things from the past. But that creative artist is that part of you that produces your experiences by working in an imaginative way. It's your own inner meditation guide, your own inner, they call it a guided meditation. I don't know. It's a guided experience. You create experiences for yourself, which is like a guided meditation. You're creating experiences for yourself, looking at things differently from this perspective and that perspective. Neil deGrasse Tyson says, when he was looking for a mate, he didn't want somebody just like himself. He wanted somebody different. Yeah, that adds a little excitement, see, and a little more stress. Can you take? Yeah, so it has to have a little bit of something in common, sure. Virtue, perhaps. Some reliable level of that. Oh, yeah. This is not a dating site. Okay. We may talk about just about anything here. May talk about that sometime. But, yeah, because the philosophy is important. It's part of how a person would see things politically and so on. So it's a rich kind of contribution, I think. Yeah. So all of these relate to the you that is your dramatic self. It's called the kid in you. So the kid is really having a relationship with your inner artist, your inner counselor, your inner caregiver. And there's particular ways in which this distribution of inter-mind communication works, or it's a form of inter-mind communication being presented on this channel. It's a particular distribution, a particular set of practices that seem to make sense, I think. You might do things differently, and as the Buddha said, a man can say, or a person, oops, boomer, a person can say, I have a way. But how can they say I have a way? I have the only way. So, and keep your mind open. Anyway, but this is a way. It's a distribution of inter-mind communication. Other people have different views, and those are interesting, and we'll go into those. But now I've done number one. Yeah. Your dramatic self interacting with these perspectives, these forms of empathy. 2. These communications divided among religions. I love this. Yeah. It's, there are 4 religions that come to my mind that have different focuses. And just like my view toward psychological therapies, you need the full range. You need all of these different things that inter-mind communication contains. You need to put them together. So, ideally, but, tailoring it to the comfort levels, ability of the person to handle it. But, you see that division in psychology that I'm talking about in the religions. I wasn't going to talk about this, but there we go. Talk therapy. That's your inner counselor communication. Trauma therapy, more caregiver. Finding that safe comfort zone, which allows you to feel things that and express things that you couldn't before, which helps you unlearn helplessness, which is at the core of trauma. And then the communication with the artist, well, that's music therapy, using humor, so many different things that stimulate the mind. Imaginative sort of ways. There's therapies that do that, and they divide these up. Whether you pick the other, I say you put them all together. You have all the tools in the chest. Well, you got one. And so, no. It reminds me of a commercial I heard as a kid. They were selling certain muffler companies' expertise, and they showed this backyard kind of setup, business setup, where the guy is showing this huge muffler to a little old lady who's saying, "Isn't that a little big for my car? So we'll make it fit." Yeah. Don't make it fit. Look at all of the perspectives and, come up with what actually does fit. And for that person, okay. Number two, yeah, the religion. Back to the religion. Well, there are several different virtues that I see spread out within these four perspectives. And the virtue of trust or faith is the one connected to your dramatic roles, patience, and of course, goodness with your patience and truth with your uh, objective communication, the intercounselor communication. And with the artist, well, that's the virtue of art or artfulness, which means creativity, creative empathy, which means the ability to create play, be at play at the same time. Right. So, religions that I think of, when I'm thinking about faith or trust, the center focus for Islam seems to be total trust in God. Well, to me, God as a internal reality is all of these perspectives, all of the virtues of these perspectives as seen in a person, the kind of personification of the absolute truth of a human being, and which is just fine to personify, drawing conclusions from it that supposed to tell you how science works. Maybe not. But anyway, um, but Islam is very much centered on faith and trust in that higher perspective. That well, essentially, the higher self in yourself is the more creative you, maybe what some would call the image of God in you. And so, anyway, total trust. Well, trust grows from these other virtues and interchange between them. And that gets to the point here of one thing you gotta understand. In mythology of communication, the artist is in you is in control of your imagination. It is the source of it and the controller of it. And so all of these elements are created by the you that is the artist in you. So in the mythology, the artist in you reaches into your past as your inner caregiver to deal with anxieties from the present, looking into the past, and reaches into your future as your counselor, helping with anxieties from the present, looking into the future. And is above your timeline and can enjoy your entire life, like any movie or anything. Hold you to your higher virtues. Be the hero of love in your story. That's the artist in you. And so the embodiment of the full embodiment of the artist is everything. It also creates your self-image. Who you think you are. But you are that artist. And in India, in Vaishnava Hinduism, that connection is talked about. The, the inner watcher. It's one of the terms in that religion for the inner artist. But yeah, that's where I see Islam. It's all about the trust, and what religion focuses more on goodness, compassion. To me, that's Christianity. And when you're looking at, the truth setting, a very objective empathy. Of course, Buddhism comes to mind. It's more about using objectivity to save your soul. Whereas in Vaishnava Hinduism, it's a religion in which, generally speaking, they focus, well, a branch of them. They focus on Krishna as a central figure, and Krishna was God at play. The artist, the virtue of art, the ability to see things from many perspectives, and so on. So, in a symbolic way, each of these religions, they're divided, sometimes competing, but they're separated. And but the pattern is there. You can see that pattern. And so love, of course, brings everything together. So you see in the United States, mostly you see a lot of people, these religions all get along, you see a different religion on every corner, and, in some cases, nobody gets really upset. Which, and that's good when you bring all of the perspectives together. That's the Unitarian Universalist approach. And when you're bringing all of these together, then that's a good thing. But you're not beating people over the head and telling people what to believe. I don't know. But in your inner practice, of course, there is wisdom to be found. And some healing. Now, yeah. Now let's go on to the stress involved in putting these things together. You see, your dramatic self can be stressed, and is stressed, by attempts to be more objective. At least, you're challenged. That's part of growth. That's spiritual growth to me. Become more objective, more artful, more compassionate. But there's stress involved with that. And a person's comfort zone is the amount of that stress that they can handle. And what really gets in, really throws a wrench into everything is drama, which can what in the world? I live in the inner city. I hope you're not hearing that. The noise pollution in the inner cities is unbelievable, and it's not good for your health at all. People run around broadcasting their pain with loud music. Fascinating. Metallic sound in there. I hope that's being filtered. Oh, okay, now that's stressful. And I discovered that, in political conversations with people where I've noted that in this country, uh, mm, well, the far left and the far right are, when you try to, you got to feel people out when you're communicating with them. With these groups, objectivity can be, you know, all of these different virtues. When you push an expanded form of compassion, or an expanded form of objectivity or artfulness, you can people will show signs of defensiveness. They become defensive because you're asking them to move outside of their comfort zone, which is what IMC does. Education is a way to comfort yourself in a way that brings you out of your comfort zone, expands your comfort zone, gives you personal growth, spiritual growth, and also can help in dealing with traumas. Um, Again, you see the splitting apart of views and CPTSD and PTSD. CPTSD, long-term kind of deprivational kind of situations. The developmental needs being blocked. Uh, More so involved with CPTSD. Then PTSD is just straight up, threats to your life. Um, hmm. And, but there's helplessness involved in all of these things. And that's what brings it all together. And it is a real understanding. Uh, uh, yeah. Yeah. So when you're putting these things together, that can be kind of stressful for people, especially putting all of them together, uh, challenging all their borders of comfort zone. That can be much more intensive in its impact. That's why when I talk about inner mind communication, it's like you do just one, it's less impacting. If you do two, it's a little more impacting. If you do all of it, that's what's involved in it when you also include inner practices that deal with connecting your infinite mind, your dramatic self without language. That that's the most potent of all. The lighter things that you do. You know, yeah, I mentioned that before. You're putting things together for another person. The lighter things are the kid in you, your dramatic self, and the inner counselor. Separating those, having a communication. and mindfulness, which is focus is how about focus, which is something you could do as an infant without a self-concept. Yeah, you can do those things pretty safely, one or the other, and even combined. Um, that's a nice, easy way for most people, but people are different. They're ready for different things, and too little stress can be a problem. You don't want a person bored. In fact, you can be stressed out by having too little stress. Yeah, it has negative effects. Um, hmm. Okay. Now, number 4. We've more or less followed this pattern. Cultural comfort. How much stress and dramatic strength? Well, your dramatic strength is the same as what a lot of psychologists call ego strength. And it's how much stress can you take in these terms? How strong are you? uh, so, cultures have limitations. And if you cultures have ego strength, they have dramatic strength. How much stress can they handle? And a lot of times, what you'll see is where they, like in Europe, for instance, where the culture is pretty much not so blended. There's more of a common culture, at least in the past. That's changing and that's upsetting people. And so, what we got to do, we got to use these understandings I'm talking about in order to help people to come together in a loving way. Um, but at the same time, you have to recognize that you bring in too many different perspectives on things, too many different challenges that demand that a person, that demand a growth of that culture toward a greater virtue, then you have to baby steps. You blend the people together that not ready to handle the multiplicity of stresses mentioned, even these positive ones. You will see defensive reactions, and this is what you're seeing with the MAGA crowd. You know, their cultures are being challenged. They're being challenged to grow, expand, and they are voicing very loudly, "We can't," you know. But understanding things, that's that helps. You understand this process and things I'm talking about. It helps people to grow. You I as far as religion itself, as you know, I like to say I'm transcendent. I'm a transcendentalist. Um, Yeah, they have their value. Um, I see them as forms of mythology that have value. And for some people, they are a kind of strong inner truth, and that's great. Mind communication is not for or against that perspective necessarily, but it does challenge perspectives. That it does. And I said before, scientists being so humble and handling mystery so well. Maybe the greatest mystics around. Mystics, mystery, dealing with it. And mystics also are people that are very much in touch with themselves and their own personal growth. And, well, for the times, um, um, for the times they came to, some of the great mystics of the world, which some people call prophets, um, well, they for their times they offered valuable progress, and that means you should be able to respect religions evolving from their particular mystics, and of course that means a little respect for Muhammad, may peace be upon him, Yeshua, Jesus, Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, any other Buddhas that want to come up with here. And Sakyamuni, that's where the writings are involved. And then Krishna, uh, and others. That's, you have some respect. These are in a sense, the not the same as the ultimate reality in most people's, well, in some people's minds, but it's a personification of the ultimate reality, uh, kind of God-man kind of concept, and nothing wrong with personifying ultimate reality, the ultimate mystery, by the way, which we may never fully grasp, as Neil deGrasse Tyson points out. But yeah, there it is, and I've left you with questions, and I hope, and so feel free to respond in the comments. Please subscribe and uh, like the post. Anything I produce that you actually like, well, please put a like and share the material. How did I get this idea of distribution by IMC? Well, I get that from Linux, and I love the philosophy of Linux. It's great. Switch to Linux and DistroTube, and these guys. Um, I think the one guy's called DT, and then distro, but they talk about the philosophy there. I think that's really worth looking into. Linux isn't just a different operating system. There's a philosophy to Linux that is, I think, kind of futuristic. It's how things are moving. More open source, But again, we can't move to that position too quickly. I mean, part of that open source I see connected to artificial intelligence. Everything is going to be pretty much opened up. And lots of communication going on there. Privacy rights have to be concerned. We'll have to be concerned about. Um, that's growing pains, but we're headed that way, in my opinion. We're headed that way. And, your sense of self and all of that, your brain creates it, in my opinion. And your higher power is your brain. The part of you that is in control of your play in life, your imagination of how things are. Yeah, that's your brain, in my opinion. And it could be something more. And that's religion. Maybe there's something more. You can't rule it out. Just might be something else going on. And the studies within the ease, near-death experiences, and so on, there's paranormal kind of things that seem to be happening. I think they're worthy of study. We shouldn't draw quick conclusions from that, and I don't think there's any proof in that of life after death necessarily, but maybe there is something there. There's definitely something there we don't fully understand. We need to remember a good mystic appreciates mystery, especially scientists. It's like, let me try to understand that. And so, anyway, let's end this thing. I like to say namaste at the end of my videos because it means honoring, it's a greeting that honors the other person from a perspective of a sense of oneness, as a sense that both of you are part and of a bigger whole, that you are each part of. It's an honoring of the force as we experience as human beings of the universe, which is needs and they're being met, which is part of the entropy play that goes on in the universe. That honoring brings people together. And it puts all of these things I'm talking about together. And people together in what I call the love flow. And so that oneness, that love flow, that higher potential, that oneness with all things that I have in me at this moment, I'd like to honor that in you. Namaste. And I hope you have a really great day today. Take care, y'all.